18th of October, 2024. Pier 17, New York City. The lush instrumental of Illusion by Henry Mancini plays overhead on the PA system. While the Brooklyn Bridge sets the scene. The four Dublin lads have been using this song as an intro for the past 2 years, since the beginning of the tour for their sophomore album, Cuts and Bruises. Fans have been waiting hours, some even more than a day. The boys didn't have to worry about cracking it in America, like so many other British and Irish artists do. They're almost more well loved across the pond than at home. New York has become a second home for them. Drummer Ryan McMahon brings us straight into These Other Days. A song written during the tour of the debut record. Their debut album was originally slated to release sometime in 2020, but was obviously delayed. They had been itching to get back on the stage, and this song is a clear reflection of that fact. It doesn't get more anthemic for indie rock than this. The audience picks up immediately to clap during the bridge. The crowd are in lead singer Eli Houston's hands. The band pivot from one single to the next. Love Will Get You There. Bassist Robert Keating, also known as Bobby Skeets by fans, provides backing vocals, perfectly accompanying Houston's strong vocals. The song was released at the same time as the announcement for their second record, 2 years ago that week. Eli instructs the crowd to sing along, and the audience eats it up. After 2 Cuts and Bruises tracks, they bring it back to their first single after lockdown, When It Breaks. This song takes direct inspiration from The Strokes. The band have worn their inspirations on their sleeves. The tune, that turned 4 years old that week, is extremely reminiscent of early 2000 Strokes, which is fitting, considering they're playing in New York City. Eli finally introduces bassist Bobby Skeets in the lead-in to the second verse. The band brings in the space during the bridge, as Houston is barely heard over the enthusiastic fans. With a distortion setting on his microphone, calling back to Julian Casablancas' vocal style. He compares the lockdowns to the liberation of France. Eli introduces their touring member and best pal, Louis Lambert.
Everybody, this is Louis Lambert on the keyboards.
Before starting The Things I Do, another song from their sophomore album. The song has become a setlist staple from the beginning of the 2022 and 2023 World Tour, and it's clear it's definitely sticking around. The band then begin Totally. The 6th single from the debut, a song about dealing with the process of a breakup in real time. The drum intro bears a strong resemblance to Chocolate by the 1975. Eli hands over to the audience to sing an extended outro to the song. As he does his best to solo over them. With moody lighting and the crowd screeching, Houston asks the crowd,
"Who's going to your house tonight?"
The band have played their next tune, Your House, 5 times before tonight, and it would be released just over a week later. A crunchy synth leads the band into the opening verse. The tune was the first by the band, produced by Kid Harpoon, responsible for As It Was by Harry Styles and Flowers by Miley Cyrus, that the band has actually previously covered. The song introduces a bit of a 70s twist for the band. Like most topics for Inhaler songs, it focuses on a one-sided relationship. The band drops out, so Eli's soaring vocals are the sole focus. With the outro comes a bit of a gospel tinge to the song. Bobby Skeets makes his speaking debut, where he introduces the drummer, giving Houston a well-deserved break.
This man needs no introduction. Ryan McMahon on the drums.
In signature Irish fashion, the bassist uses dry humour to ease the tension.
I think this view is pretty good, but he gets to look at our asses every night.
McMahon starts the kick to their iconic festival tune, Who's Your Money On? Lead guitarist Josh Jenkinson adds a jangle guitar, clearly inspired by Johnny Marr, to build atmosphere. As the song climaxes, they play their somber outro to the tune, as the crowd waves their phone flashlights in solidarity. The outro, originally debuted over 5 years earlier as its own standalone song. Until being added to the outro of Who's Your Money On to create a 6-minute long epic in the middle of their first album. They waste no time in beginning their tune Valentine, in which Houston's vocals sound much more coarse than its album version, adding tension to the love song.
I got a bone to pick with you. I got a bone to pick with you. But don't worry, I'm not mad.
Bobby, the original vocalist for the band, flexes his abilities, providing some much needed atmosphere to the tune. A soft organ, courtesy of Lamper, is brought in, as Houston references one of their other influences, Coldplay, as they begin one of their earliest crowd favourites, My King Will Be Kind. The tune that debuted in 2019 fits the coming-of-age theme of their debut, singing about boys feeling that they're owed a woman's love. The crowd joins in with what has become a fan favourite moment during their concerts, the classic call and response. And Eli finally gets to let out a well-earned solo. The band begins one of their earliest songs, dating back to 2018, a love song to their hometown, with a guitar solo sounding eerily similar to LCD Sound System's All My Friends. The two songs share a similar feeling of yearning for your early 20s and being surrounded by all your closest friends. Over halfway into the set, Eli walks down into the crowd, a moment they've all been waiting for, and begins singing in the fans' faces. Eli confirms that their new record, Open Wide, was inspired by the city they're playing in tonight.
A lot of this album was inspired by this city, kinda. It's a song called Open Wide.
They begin their eponymous tune, which won't be released for 2 more months. It's the first time the band has played 2 or more unreleased tunes live since 2020, when they could test out songs directly on their audience. Bobby Skeets' bass is the heart of this song, especially during the second half of the bridge. The warm guitar tone of If You're Gonna Break My Heart introduces the third single from Cuts and Bruises. The music video features the boys wearing cowboy hats, which has become an all too common trend for fans to wear at their shows. The song ends with an energetic climax. After a couple of slower, more mellow tunes, they play one of their earliest songs. Cheer Up Baby. It's abundantly clear the crowd know every single word, and they have for years. Every member of the band is bringing their A game tonight. They have to. It's been a year and a half since their last show in the city, their St. Paddy's Day gig, which, as an Irish band, are always intense.
Fantastic Inhaler!
The band are much tighter than they were when the song was originally played in 2019, when they were 19-20-year-olds. Now, of course, it's time for the set closer. The band begins their third ever single, released all the way back in 2019, which debuted live the year earlier as the song 540. It was the title track of their debut record. The chorus is about as anthemic as it gets for the band. As the chorus comes to a close, McMahon rides the cymbals and the audience claps along. Everything cuts out just in time for Josh Jenkinson to finally get an introduction. He plays arguably his most famous solo as the song comes to a close. The band leaves the stage as a question mark and a date appears on the screen, setting the crowd up for the release of the first single from their third record, Your House. Warm synths radiate from the speakers. The band regroups back on stage as Houston, solo, begins to sing the chorus of Just to Keep You Satisfied. The audience knows what they're in store for. McMahon's crisp drums, Keating's driving bass, Jenkinson and Houston's dueling guitars are all the audience needs. He has come a long way in terms of being a frontman though, and easily commands the crowd of almost 4,000. It's that time of the night. Houston spends a few moments thanking the crowd.
Thank you for spending your Friday night with us.
Their biggest song, with over 40 million streams on Spotify, the song that's been a constant closer since its debut in 2018. Their second ever single. When you go to an Inhaler gig, they're sure as hell gonna play My Honest Face. Houston sings about the joy of being a rock star. There isn't a better closer for a short 16-song set. It hasn't missed a gig since its debut, and it's clear to see why. The crowd is flooded with green lights. They go in for a final chorus. The crowd are screaming at the top of their lungs. They're loving it, and so is the band. And that's the end of the gig. Until next time, New York.